After serving for decades as a teacher and librarian in Pflugerville and Round Rock, our guest today decided to spread her talents and passion in a really big way. Trudy Marshall formed Libraries of Love, a nonprofit dedicated to providing libraries and books more than 8,000 miles away in Africa.
And Trudy joins us now to talk more about this. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
This is quite the story, quite the journey that you've taken. We want to know how this all got started. It was more than 20 years ago, right, when you were doing some traveling?
I had been traveling, and a friend said, "You've been all these places, you should go to Africa." And I was like, okay, I'll go to Africa. And at the time, I had just finished library school at UT, so I went to the schools in Uganda to see their libraries, and what I found was students up to 200 with one teacher, and very much run-down schools, and no books at all. So in 2005, we did our first library, and now we have 55 libraries. We have 46 in Uganda, 6 in Kenya, and 3 in prisons. And they're as beautiful as any American library.
That's great.
So you brought one of the books today, and you're going to tell us a little bit about your system that you implement in these libraries.
Yeah, I have this absolutely wonderful group that has worked for 20 years on the books, and they add the spine label. And if it's an African themed book, then they add an extra sticker. And we do the old-fashioned method of checking out books.
Dewey Decimal?
Dewey Decimal.
Oh my goodness.
Our libraries are very organized Dewey Decimal.
They sure are.
Our librarians are trained, and the books are kept in order, and the kids are trained on how to borrow the books. Right now we have probably 80,000 kids that can walk in a library and borrow books.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Amazing.
When you say you started a library, is this like from the ground up, like building the libraries, or just inhabiting space that they have and forming them into libraries?
We take a room in a school, and then we put in the ceilings, the flooring, all the bookshelves, and supply the books, and the schools actually pay the librarian. We make the room the oasis in the school, but they pay the librarian.
Sorry to interrupt. This has got to be very emotional. I mean, because this is really not just about books, right? Tell us the interaction that you have with the children.
Yeah, the kids are so excited. If I just think of their smiles and their eyes, I know that every bit of it has been worthwhile. And in Uganda, students are chased from school if they can't pay school fees. And so we also started a program for sponsored children, and we now have 20 university graduates and 60 sponsored with 10 of those in college.
Wow. It's incredible to see you not just being with these kids as they're little and they're reading children's books, but all the way through their education.
They go, a lot of them I found being chased from school in 3rd grade and 4th grade, and now they're in the university.
Wow.
That's great.
So it has been an amazing trip.
And you, speaking of trips, you spend quite a bit of time, half the year you spend in Africa, right?
I do. I thought I just stayed 6 weeks, and my youngest daughter this year said, "Mom, you don't know how to count. You stay, 6 months." She said, "You stay 7 months in Africa." And I went, "Oh, probably so."
Hard to get away when there's so much work to be done, I'm sure. So you all do other types of humanitarian work as well. Tell us about that.
Yes, because I live out in little villages in Uganda and Kenya. They call me Mzungu. I'm the only white person out in either village. So I move a lot on motorcycle taxi and by foot. And so I see a lot of needs. And in fact, today, I have a man having surgery that has elephantiasis of his leg. So we do a lot of that, a lot of humanitarian. Sometimes we even build houses when they're living in a cow dung home and need a home. So a lot of humanitarian.
Yeah, the need is really great. And of course, all of this is done through sponsors and donations. If somebody is watching this and they feel like they'd like to get involved, what do they need to know?
They can look at our website, librariesoflove.org, and I'm on there as a contact, and so that would be fine.
Really incredible work you're doing, Trudy. I mean, we can just see it in the pictures we're showing of the children holding up those books. So we encourage everyone to get on their website and look into what you're doing. Trudy, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.